I'm not sitting in the middle of my apartment with a crying baby
Yeah.
with its mom not around
Just
anywhere.
like piles of toys everywhere.
And there's just toys everywhere. Also,
Yeah.
the lighting in the dream is always like red. It's always like evil or something. So there's a lot of
a lot of layers.
there's a lot of layers there. Folks, welcome to the show, by the way. Welcome to the What You Don't Hear podcast. This is a 15-minute Friday. And in case you're wondering what the heck I'm explaining, depending on how much of that I leave in the final edit of the show, I'm talking to my friend Sarah here. Sarah, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you.
I was sharing with you a reoccurring nightmare I have. That in this nightmare, I have a child and I have no idea what to do with it. And I feel like all my dreams are crushed. And I was telling you that story, and I'm going to leave that in the episode because the topic of this episode is in general the idea of how to continue to pursue or keep a healthy balance of dreams and goals, all while keeping some little humans alive and being a parent.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I told you before we started recording. This is going to be this is a Sarah episode of the 15-Minute Friday, if there ever is one, okay? Because I just explained to you my nightmare.
Yeah.
Because I do not have children. I have... It's such an outsider thing for me right now. So honestly, I'm going to do a lot of learning in this one.
Okay.
And I'm definitely going to let you lead it because I clearly don't have experience with this. I am not sitting and trying to pursue the goals and the passions and the dreams, all while also taking care of children.
Little humans.
That to me, I'm just like, oh my God, like that's so sick that you do that.
Thank you.
That's so dope. Way to go. You're the most powerful person I know. Any friend of mine that's doing anything, I should also start the timer. Any friend of mine that's doing anything and have children, I'm like, whoa, like first off, like I'm not ready for that. So I'm glad I'm not dealing with that. But also huge props because I don't know.
You. I really appreciate you saying that.
So let's kind of start technically from the beginning of these children's lives. Take me back because I know you were going to school for health coaching, find out you're pregnant, all that sort of stuff. We've talked about on a previous episode the pivot that you had to make with those career choices, but kind of rehash that a little bit. Lay the groundwork for like you're about to dive into this career choice. Yeah. And now you got to take care of a kid. There's a baby here.
Right. So, I mean, my husband and I got married. I started school for health coaching. 4 months later, I found out I was pregnant, which we were trying, but I kind of thought it would take a lot longer than what it did. And I also had this weird rush of like, I'm married, I have to do everything at once. So it was, a lot of comparison that I was stuck in, but I finished school while I was pregnant. I graduated and then a month later had the baby. And I was like, cool, what do I do now? And then I wanted to start health coaching, but also I had this tiny baby and people are just naturally on maternity leave after they have a baby. And I was kind of like, trying to figure out what to do. Someone reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do like markets that were going on, like, the craft show kind of thing. So I started doing those once a month to help promote my health coaching business. And it was really chaotic. My baby was 6 months old. He was at the market with me. And like my husband's mom was there, and my best friend was there, and my mom was there. So we were all together with the baby, and it was really cute and wonderful. But then COVID hit, so I guess that's another like pivot in trying to figure out this whole thing. And I started health coaching from home, and found out I was pregnant again after the baby was about a year old. And so I kind of quit health coaching and like really sat back and tried to figure out what are my resources as in time, energy, money, and how am I going to manage all of this, because this is what I really want to do. I'm passionate about it, and it's going to fuel me to be a better person and be a better mom. How do I keep doing it? So my situation, I should start with too. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Neither of our parents are retired at this time, so we don't have like casual childcare. Daycares are very expensive. We're a one-income family, so long story short, I'm at home with the kids all the time. So I guess the best way I manage it is So when decided, I kind of sat back and, you know, made a list of what I want to do and how I can keep doing this. I figured out blogging would be the best way to go, so I don't have like one-on-one calls that are going to get interrupted. It's a much more flexible schedule. So I started pursuing that, and even I have a somewhat of a background in like building websites and a little bit of design and stuff. But the challenge that I found out was like with building a website, I have like an hour a day to try to do it. And I'm learning, all these new things of like building a website from scratch. So for the first like 3 to 4 months, I was just building a website every day at nap time and trying to figure out, like, sometimes it took an hour just to figure out how to move a picture. You know, it was so frustrating.
Right.
And there were so many times my husband would get home and I was crying because I was so frustrated that I couldn't. In the past, before kids, I was the person that like jumped all in 110%. And that's what all I was doing for however long until my goal was accomplished. I'm like, was always a very goal, creative, venture focused person to the point where I would forget to like hang out with friends and stuff. So, I mean, this has brought a lot of balance in life. So I think the best thing, as far as managing everything at once is like, understanding time management but always being flexible because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nap time is typically when I work or after they go to bed. But for example, like last night I was trying to shoot some photos for my blog and my oldest kept waking up and needing, reassurance that everything was fine. And like, so just trying to be wise of how you're using your time. Another thing I do within that is like, I try to time block. So I'll try to get a babysitter for 3 to 4 hours, or, if my husband is home, we kind of figure out, okay, you're going to be with the kids, I'm going to leave and go work. So time blocking is good, but also then figuring out things that I can do while Paw Patrol is on for 20 minutes, or, my toddler's playing upstairs really well by himself. So what can I knock out for 15 minutes? Sometimes that isn't even anything to do with like working and blogging. Sometimes that's just picking up the house so I can stay a sane person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important to remember too, to take care of yourself first. A lot of people, I'm not one of these people because I'm not a morning person, like waking up really early and going to the gym or doing a workout or knocking out some writing and stuff before the kids even wake up. I have a 6-month-old, so we're still sorting out the sleeping situation with him. So it's just not a plausible thing. I think once he starts sleeping through the night more, it'll be easier to wake up earlier and we'll be more on a schedule opposed to a rhythm. So
Right.
yeah,
Man, it's so like so much of what you just shared is like that's always where my head goes when I hear friends talk about this or see anybody share about it or whatever, because it's like, to me, there's like everybody in general, there's tons of stuff you have to balance in your life. And
Yeah.
again, even all jokes aside, like adding a kid or two, whatever into that, like, is such it's not just like, well, do I want to eat healthy or not eat healthy? It's like,
Yeah.
well, there's that, but also like, I need to take care of this other human being.
yeah, it's hard.
And so it's like, for me, it always is so interesting to just know how people are balancing all those things of how are you still finding time for yourself and pursuing a goal or a passion or working on your brand or your company, and also keeping a healthy relationship and like spending, like, again, keeping the kids alive
and
You
trying
know
to
what I
keep
mean?
them healthy and stuff. Oh, it's like there's so many layers to it, and I think the biggest thing is to just really lower your expectations. Like
Okay.
taking care of myself. I used to go to yoga like 5 times a week, and it was my favorite thing ever. But now I am really grateful and thankful that I can go to a class once a week, or I'm really grateful if I can find 15 minutes to do a YouTube yoga video or whatever, or just, be on the rower for 10 minutes a day is like amazing. But yeah, managing it all, I feel like before I had kids, I had these huge chunks of time to focus on things, relationships and career paths and, X, Y, and Z, meal prepping, whatever. And I think now I've just become more accustomed to I don't know how to say it, being grateful for those opportunities that I have to focus on things that are outside of kids, but also bringing the kids into, my life. So if I'm making a salad, guess who's going to be in the kitchen with me pretending that he's chopping cucumbers,
Yeah.
Just like bringing them into it and and giving them things to do. Kids love to participate in what you're doing as adults, and they love to help out with the family. So he doesn't do this now, but for a while, my toddler was really into helping me do the dishes. And he would stand on his little stool and give me all the clean dishes, and we would sort them, and we'd say what they are and where they go. And now he knows where everything is in the kitchen, and he'll go grab it. And sometimes he goes and grabs the, blender and brings it to me in my room and is like, make me a smoothie, Mom, come on. So it's, having them participate too is really helpful. And then, delegating other tasks, I feel like as women, at least maybe this is how I feel, not everyone feels this way, I feel like I have to do everything by myself all the time. And even just having my husband, take care, he's an absolutely fantastic dad. I'm not gonna I'm not undershooting him at all, but sometimes I have to be mindful of I'm trying to do this task and I'm also trying to take care of my kids at the same time. And it would be a lot easier if I just say, hey, can you watch the kids and make sure they don't, fall off the counter or whatever? Or can you come into the kitchen and help me do this while I put away the dishes while I try to cook or something? I think it's really easy to forget that that's possible. At least that's how I am. That's how I grew up. My mom had 3 jobs, took care of us, did all the things. So I get really caught up in trying to do all the things at once. So
yeah, well, I'm sure when that parental protector feeling also kicks in, that's probably just adding to the I have to take care of everything mindset.
It does.
In general I'm going to feel that way and I'm going to want to take care of everything, but then also if you're, again, as an outsider, I just feel like that maybe if you're in that mindset already, and then you add the fact of okay, I'm taking care of a kid and I'm pursuing all these things and I'm doing all these sort of things, I just have to take it all on.
Yeah, it's really easy to take it all on, and you just got to stop yourself and sit back. And
so obviously in that, I feel like what you're saying is communication is a huge key.
Right.
Learning how to communicate those things of hey, I need some help, or hey, I got this, or hey, can we do this, and can we delegate these tasks, or hey, I need some time to go figure this out, because I feel like communication works in any realm.
Right.
But I feel like especially when you're a parent, communicating those sort of things, communicating those, I don't know, the healthy boundaries of what you still need to have just the foundational aspects of your life in general, I feel like that's so easy to toss that aside and just kind of sort of just go of this needs solved and that needs solved and that needs solved. And it's probably hard to sit back at times and be okay, let's think about this for a second.
Yeah, because there's so many.
Right.
Someone's crying all the time or whatever. Yeah. But it is, I feel like starting at a young age, I before I became a mom, I was a home health aide with kids, 4 kids that have autism, and I was a nanny also for years and years. So I've had a decent amount of experience working with kids. With that being said, I feel like in that time I learned that communicating is really important too, no matter how old the kids are. My oldest is only 2.5, and there are times where I'm hey, I need to do this task. Can you work on these stickers? And he's totally fine with it. And you can even, what I'm saying is you can even communicate with with your kids too, and helping them understand that I tell my kid all the time, Mommy needs to take care of her so she can be better at taking care of you. Like even when I'm brushing my teeth and he's trying to get me to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. And I think if you start young, in my experience, they'll catch on and they hopefully would also pick up on those habits as they get older. Like he has a little sibling now and he is going through like he wants space from his sibling. He feels like the baby's invading his space. And he's 2, so he's like, screaming and crying when the baby's invading his space essentially. And so there are times though where he's like, "Baby Travers, I need space." Like he is getting it,
Yeah.
So
So how are you, whether it's a day-to-day breakdown or hey, I plan ahead a lot or whatever, like how are you balancing all of that while still pursuing the health world, the health coaching world, the blog, all that sort of stuff? Like,
I would say mostly just being flexible, but also planning ahead as much as you can. There was one weekend where I had the kids go to my mom's. I came home and I worked all weekend and I had enough stuff set up for the next month. That was great. That's like the ideal world. But also, I'm in a phase right now where I'm doing my posts like week to week and I'm kind of playing catch up. So I would say just don't be too hard on yourself and know that life is life and it's always going to be changing. Like you're going to be organized. It's going to be great. You're going to be on top of the world, but this too shall pass and a dirty diaper is going to get in your way. Okay. And like right now I'm in the phase of like playing catch up. I feel like I need to hurry up and do all the things, but this too shall pass and I will, get ahead of things and start to feel better and feel more in a rhythm, and I would say too, like I try to really enjoy my kids while they're little because they're only little once and just be really thankful for them, even though, it's taking up time where I love spending time with my kids. I would like a little bit more time to work on my stuff, but I think it's also important to have the mindset of like, wow, I'm so thankful for these kids. They're little miracles that I created. I'm so thankful that you have the ability to express your emotions. Some kids don't, unfortunately. I'm so thankful that you are learning how to go pee on the potty or like get in the fridge by yourself and get yourself a snack, even though little messes come along with that. I think it's important if you have that mindset of being grateful for your kids and their presence and them growing and like learning new things, when you're not going to be stressed out. So when you sit back to do your stuff, your energy is just naturally going to be a little bit better, opposed to the kid peed on the floor. There's food all over the place. Like, everyone's crying. There's 2 ways you can go about it. So, and I'm not perfect. There are days where I'm stressed out and I can't handle it and I need a break and I, yell at the kids sometimes, but then also that's also a good opportunity to show that you can apologize and set that example too. So.
yeah. So I feel like I know the answer to this because I feel like it translates into how we interact with anybody.
Yeah.
But like, how much do you feel like your energy translates to the kids' energy?
110%. Nick, my husband, always says that too. Like, I feel like your energy really, the kids really pick up on your energy either way. So constant, like I have them watch, or I have Corbin, the baby is a baby, but the baby sits with us when we do this. We watch these little kid meditation videos. Like when things get really hectic, there's this monkey like doing all these arm things and there's this like sound bath going on in the background.
Okay.
And we just relax and sit on the couch and breathe and just take 5 minutes to chill out. Or there's different things that we do to like help, everybody calm down. Like bath time is always a good thing to do. Like it's a good sensory thing that helps everybody calm down. It transitions the activities completely. So that's another thing I do a lot.
So I'm gonna throw it. We've for sure broken our 15 minutes.
Okay.
But now I'm just so interested. And, maybe it'll change those nightmares I'm having into like just casual dreams. Like what? I'm gonna throw you a curveball question.
Okay.
So if right now, if like you as a mom right now, we're trying to just get started
Yeah.
with a lot of the stuff that you're doing. What do you feel like the step? And obviously, yes, it's hard to say that because you're like, well, I haven't learned all the things
Yeah.
yet.
I
But like,
still feel like I'm starting, to be honest.
yeah. Okay. So how would you like walk me through that? Like if you were trying to, or if somebody's listening to this and is maybe literally in that position of, I'm trying to get started with a goal or a passion or a dream, and I'm a parent right now, and I'm just trying to get started in the middle of it. What are you saying to that person, or what do you feel like you would do?
Take the time that you have to focus on that. Don't get on your phone and doom scroll. Don't sit down and watch Netflix for 30 minutes. Like, it's a hard habit to break, but you're going to feel a lot better if, like, at nap time, instead of sitting down to watch, whatever, you're going to feel a lot better if you put more energy into yourself opposed to just trying to constantly decompress. But when you're actually still stimulating your brain with other things that aren't, giving you energy, I think it is important to decompress. I had like a trashy show TV watch last night, and hung out, and it was great and relaxing. But I don't do that every night. I try to make sure I'm like reading or focusing on the blog or writing or whatever. But I think it's good to have that every once in a while. But yeah, I would say try to break those habits and try to be mindful of what you're doing, and try to be mindful of what you can do in like the half downtime, like, during a show or something that the kids are watching. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
100%. Yes. I'm just listening. I'm like, okay, save all these
Yes.
notes for later. Because, it's like, I feel like whenever I talk to, friends of mine now who have kids and are like, oh, I'd really like to do this thing.
Yeah.
I definitely am like a complete outsider, but I'm still trying to be mindful of like, okay, I know you don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to like give you the same motivational speech that I'll try to give anybody else.
Yeah.
But I feel like where my head always goes is just like, try to make use of the time that you have.
Exactly.
Even if it's just a little bit, and if it's a little bit of time, try to do as much planning that you can in that time.
Planning is pretty major.
And it's like, I know I'm, speaking out of my ass, about this because I'm not a parent. I don't know. It's easy for me to sit and say, oh, we'll just plan ahead and think of the ideas and blah, blah, blah. But like that, I feel like is where my head always goes of like, okay, if I was in that situation, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
I would try to be, obviously be present for everything that's happening.
Yeah.
But also in those moments where I need to be present for myself, for my goals, let's just make the most of that opportunity.
Exactly. And I think it's important, the more you get to know yourself, the easier you can make those things happen. When you're a parent, especially a stay-at-home parent, you are so exhausted, like so exhausted. So one thing I do that I have found that helps me kind of decompress a little bit is put the kids to bed. I lay on my bed and set a timer for 15 minutes and watch TikTok for 15 minutes because it's funny or inspirational or whatever. When it's done, I turn it off, and then I go to my table, sit at my computer, see what I can do, or go to my kitchen, see what I can get inspired with the ingredients that I have in my kitchen. So, I mean, I think it's important to have do both, decompress, but also make sure you're not getting trapped into just nonsense, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Have that time to yourself where you can just enjoy something, but don't turn it into that 3-hour doom scroll or whatever it may be. It's like, okay, there's a balance. And that's if you're trying to pursue something of like, okay, let's...
And that can be applied to absolutely anything when you're a parent. If you're trying to work out more, if you're trying to meal prep, if you're trying to spend more time with your partner, decompress, but also go after your goals too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's wrap this one up.
Okay.
If you were to sum up kind of everything that we've talked about, whether it's listing out all the points or the major things that you'd want someone to take away from this, if we're putting a bow on it, what are the last like tips that you would leave with somebody of like, hey, here again, I know, none of us have the perfect answers, but like, hey, here's what I've learned. Here's kind of what's worked for me, or here's, whatever those sum up of the tips would be. What would you leave with people?
I would say be flexible, have plans, but be flexible. Really, really get to know yourself and get to know your energy, what's going to motivate you when you need to relax, and try to be as present as you can when you are working or when you're with your kids too. So when you're working, it's very easy to get distracted. When you're with your kids, it's very easy to get distracted. But I feel like when you're focused on one thing, it's easier. Like when I'm with my kids, but I need to work really quick, I get instantly stressed out because I'm trying to write this email and then, play Thomas the Train or whatever. So try to separate them as much as you can to keep your sanity, and that's going to be good for your kids in the long run too because you're more present with them. It's going to be better for your work too because you're present with your work and you're able to get more done when you're focused on one thing.
Beautiful. Sarah, thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah, of course.
Talking with this non-parent about being a parent. Yeah. I want you to know that in a handful of years, if and when I actually have a child, we're going to be having this exact same conversation.
Okay, great. I'm here for it.
I'm just going to come over.
I will hopefully will have more wisdom at that point, too.
I'm just
going to
be
help
like,
you out better.
Sarah, yesterday, remember that nightmare I told you about like 5 years ago? It was
happening.
Coming true. I don't know what to do. And then I'm just going to sit down. We're going to have this exact same conversation. Or I'll just fire up this episode.
Great.
I'll dig it up like, all right, what did she say a long time ago when you were asking all those uneducated questions? You didn't know anything at the time, and now you still don't know anything. Okay, Sarah.
It is a long process.
Yes. So thank you so very much for doing another one of these 15-minute fries with me.
Yeah, of course.
Even though this one's like 25 minutes. Right? Whatever.
Whatever.
Who's really counting? Listen, I own the show. Okay, I can do what I want.
This is your place.
If anybody wants to find you on the internet, where can they do that?
Plantbasednarrative.com. My Instagram and my TikTok is plantbasednarrative. So there you'll find healthy recipes, kitchen tips, and a little bit of mom life.
Boom! There it is. A 25-minute Friday in the books. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.